If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the filthy capitalist option. As Sori says, $125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. $125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and you get matched down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go in the village, facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy our merch.
Buy our merch, indeed. A child shall lead them.
To buy our merch, the Kinks-Lola is next on our DJ Revo stream. You reacted to this band's song, You Really Got Me, 3 years ago. Oh, wait. Is that... Hey, you really got me now. Is that one? You got me, so I
How am I
go
supposed to know?
Okay, this band was a mod band like The Who. Remember, they wear designer clothes, love artsy stuff, get mocked by rockers for being effeminate, but on stage have loud music. This song was released in 1970 and written by lead singer Ray Davies on their album Lola vs. the Power Man and the Money Ground Part 1. It was released in the U.S. on Reprise Records and in the UK through Pi Records. The BBC originally banned the song because it featured lyrics Coca-Cola because of a product advertising, but in this performance he changed the lyrics to Cherry Cola to avoid the ban.
All right. Here we are. All right. The Kinks, what is this again? Lola is the name of this song. Let's do it.
In a club down in Old Soho where you drink champagne and it tastes just like cherry cola. Cherry cola. She walked up to me and she asked me to dance. I asked her her name and in a dark brown voice she said Lola. Hello, hello, Lola. La 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 Lola. I'm not the world's most physical guy, but once you squeeze me tight, she nearly broke my spine. Oh, my Lola. La 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 la. Well, I'm not done.
We need to bring that back where people like where the guitar just plays and people are dancing and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. We need to bring that back into videos.
I agree.
So Lola's a dude. So he's in Soho.
Well, I mean,
so this guy's in Soho.
Trans woman.
Yeah. Okay. Lola's a trans. Well, he said Lola's a man. You know what's
that's his perspective. That's not what Lola wants to be called, I'm sure.
Okay. So, but this sounds like an affirming song, though.
Yeah.
Like he likes Lola. I'm not the world's most physical guy, but when she squeezed me tight, she nearly broke my spine. Well, I'm not dumb, but I can't understand why she talks like a woman and why she walks like a woman and talks like a man. Yeah. So Lola's trans, and it looks like he's having a good time. So this is an affirming song. Just to show you guys how different.
Put that out there for you guys.
Just to show you guys how different the black community is from your guys's. So, what's his name? Kendrick Lamar just released a record May 13th. And one of the songs, one of those songs is called Aunt Diaries, in which he raps about his aunt, who is female to male trans, and his cousin, who is a male to female trans. And it was a positive, it was an affirming song. It was pretty introspective. He was making a correlation between the struggles that specifically trans people go through with the black struggle. That Kendrick, it is very, very fascinating song.
To me, it felt like he had done a lot of thinking for a long period of time, and that he was like it was very introspective, and he even brought up something that he did years ago that I thought that was fascinating that he brought that up.
The preacher at church.
No, not that. That's not. So, like, he had a white girl go up on the stage.
Girl go up.
Yeah, and then he got her to the part of the song where you say the N-word. And so she thought she was, with it.
She thought she was
it
down
was
with the
okay
struggle.
because
she thought
he
she had
called
a
her
hood
up to
pass.
the store. Well, he called her up to the stage to do it. So I can totally see how she misread that.
Yeah.
So then she does it, and then he blasts her.
Yeah.
And but then he like talks about that. I don't think it's necessarily.
He talks about how he grew up using homophobic slurs.
Yeah.
And he was saying, well, we didn't know any better. And then he basically says, well, then he extends the same sort of grace to the white folks and say, well, they must not have known better either, which I think it's true. Man, this is a very fascinating site. It just makes me think about, our community. The black community is. I don't think it's ever going to be accepted in the black community the way that it is in the white. I just don't. Mm-hmm. I just don't. I just think the circumstances are different. The historical narrative is different. and I haven't really done a deep dive as to the differences between acceptance of LGBT people in the black community versus the white community. I just don't see it. I mean, just for perspective, it's 2022, and I'm pretty sure Kendrick is the first mainstream rapper, not only that is
broached
has something positive to say about trans people, but broaches the subject in general. I mean,
I was shocked.
There have been allusions to trans people, but not even as trans people, as transvestites. There's obviously a difference between a transvestite and a trans person. Transvestite is just somebody like drag or whatever. Whereas a trans person believes that they were born in the wrong body, or that they have actual body dysmorphia, gender dysmorphia. Whereas a transvestite is just somebody that wears the opposite, you know. But anyway, my point is,
I didn't know that.
Okay. In our community, like, trans people were not even acknowledged, other than just a sort of backhanded way of mockery. Yeah. The song all about the Benjamins. Play you mad false, acting hard and you was pussy as RuPaul. RuPaul is the most famous transvestite, whatever. My point is, our community is, you know, 1970 was what, 52 years ago? So there's a 52-year gap between our culture and your culture as far as mainstream musicians saying anything. Well, first of all, acknowledging the existence of trans people in the first place, and then affirming trans people as people that should be loved unconditionally, which Kendrick did an amazing job at that. I
was amazed.
I was listening to it and I was like, my brother said, you got to hear this song. It's probably going to be the song of the year. And it was that song. And I'm like, it should be the song of the year, but I doubt very highly it's going to be the song of the year. But I wish it would be, because I believe it would literally save lives. Because in the hood, man, forget it. They'll kill you. Like, you will die if, you know, trans people, like, especially if they didn't know. Like, black trans women are like the most, like, targeted, gone after, killed people, and there's not a lot of justice for them. Like, these people claim like temporary insanity because they didn't know, and a lot of them get off. So they didn't know the person was trans. They find out, they end up killing them. They'll you know, cry temporary insanity, and a lot of times a judge will let them off. It's like, yo, you killed somebody. Now, I know what's going on in your head, which is you should have told these people, and I agree. I think you definitely should tell people. Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, I think that anything that... Look, I understand why someone in that situation doesn't want to, because, you know, in their mind...
Shout out to Harv. Go ahead.
In their mind, they feel like, so if I was a trans woman and I was born a man and then I became a trans woman, then I don't want to have to tell everybody that I was born a man. Like, if I feel like a woman,
right,
I want to act like a woman. I want to talk, and I don't have to come to you and say I'm actually not a woman. But like, if you have that, like, mentally, that's where you're at. Like, no, like, I am a woman. To have to tell somebody that you're not, like, I think that probably goes against everything that they feel about themselves. And so, like, because they believe themselves to be that, and that's what they want to be, then to have to, like, introduce that into a conversation that's going to go that... I understand why they don't want to talk about it. But at the same time, you have to understand that people have to be able to make choices. And this is not something that's been accepted for, you know, all of history. Like, this is something that is, you know, it obviously, like you just said, this song came out in the 70s. I'm actually shocked that he broached the topic this way. And if you're looking at the people in the video, everybody's vibing with the song, and he's saying, "Look, I almost fell for her. Like, I was feeling it, you know." Well, and maybe
didn't he? I pushed her away. I walked to the door, but I mean, toward the end of the song, he does kind of fall for her, right?
Well, yeah, but I don't.
Little boy, I'm gonna make you a man. That's.
Yeah, but he responds, "Well, I'm not in the world's most masculine, but I know what I am, and I'm glad I'm a man, and so is Lola." So I don't think that he goes with it. I think that it's just something that he was kind of like...
What makes you think he didn't go with it?
I think he stopped it. I just because he says that He knows he's a man, and like before he's kind of like, oh well, he's kind of like floating around with the idea. I just think that he didn't, and maybe even if he went with it for that night, I don't think that they like stayed together or anything like that. But I was still surprised that the song
I
gave
absolutely
it that
believe
much of a
he went off.
chance.
He absolutely went off with her. What are you talking about? He's saying
oh yeah,
it's a
I
mixed
think they
up,
went off, but I don't know if they went
muddled
through
up,
with it.
shook up world except for Lola. Like the whole world is fucked up except for Lola, which is very fascinating. That's pretty crazy to say in 1970 that the whole world is screwed up except for this person who was born male but identifies as a woman, which is a real reversal of how society treats this topic. Society says that we're all straight and logical and you guys are crazy. Mm-hmm. But he flipped it to say we're all crazy and they're, whatever. Yeah. I disagree with you. I think especially that last line I think was really instructive actually, where he said, I'm not the world's most masculine man, but I know what I am. I'm glad I'm a man, and so is Lola. So what he's saying is, I think what he's saying is, I completely accept myself for where I'm not masculine, I'm not physical. I am a man, I know who I am, I know what my limitations are, and I know myself and I accept myself, and so does Lola. Like that's what he's saying there. I know what I am, I'm glad I'm a man, even though he's not the most masculine man. And then he's saying, so is Lola. So to me, this is a complete celebration of Lola and his attractive. It's what's funny? There's a certain DJ in New York, very, very famous DJ. And he's been caught on multiple occasions with trans sex workers. Okay. And so after like the second scandal or whatever, they brought him on the radio station and he was telling everybody, I'm not gay, I'm not gay, I'm not gay. And the radio station were like, well, I mean, you're a legendary, I think it's Mr. C. You're a legendary DJ. It's all good. Don't worry about no, we don't have any judgments for you. Bullshit. That's not true. But he was like, he was really making a point to say, I am not gay. But he also said he is attracted to specifically to trans women. Because they were saying, well, why don't you just go, was it one of those situations where it was a mistake? You know what I'm saying? But because he got caught multiple times, the mistake thing, so it's like, obviously you're attracted to
trans women. So I don't know. Maybe there's a specific kink where like you're mostly attracted to trans women. I don't know. But either way, it was just a very uncomfortable interview. I as a matter of fact, I've never sat through and watched the entire interview. It's just so uncomfortable where you've got the radio hosts they're rich. They're hanging out with Barack Obama. Yeah. They're no longer street level DJs. When I was growing up, the DJs on Hot 97 were like regular street people that you would, they were just like us. But now, like, they've all become millionaires. Yeah. And now they're now celebrities. It's cool to hang out with Charlemagne and all these people. So my point is, they're now in the elite world. So in the elite world, obviously LGBTQ stuff, we're very supportive. So what was happening is Mr. C, who still knows how the streets are, is saying, I'm not gay, but these other like disconnected hip hop icons from the street are saying, it's okay, we accept you. And like they weren't realizing like, no, your elite crew accepts him, but street level dudes, the people that he's been making music for the last 30 years do not accept it. That's just a fact. And like you could die. So he's sitting there denying. They're sitting there saying, hey, it's okay, we accept you, yada yada. And like both of them were speaking past each other because just in our community, it's just not something that we're 50 years behind on this. And that's why I'm saying like I don't think we're never gonna get to the point where I understand like now they're black rappers, like I forgot this guy, the black country rapper guy, and he's lap dancing with the devil and all this shit.
But what people don't realize is he still got rejected by the hip hop community. It was white folks that were saying, "Oh, that's great, that's so progressive, yada yada yada." But nobody on the street, we were like, "Yo, this shit is."
Yeah.
So it's just an issue, and it's just an issue in the community. Lil Nas X, yeah, it's just an issue in the community, and I don't think it's ever gonna change. I really don't. And I haven't really looked into why that would be. I might do some more thinking about it, but yeah, it's a pretty crazy situation. Go ahead. What are you thinking?
Well, I mean, just the subject itself is, I'm not sure, like, there's so many things, and I haven't really fully thought through all of my thoughts on it. I know that I'm particularly drawn to stories of, like we watched that Now for the Life of Me, I can't remember what it was, but it was a show series about the trans community and the struggles within that community. What was the name of that one?
Pose,
right.
Yeah.
Anytime that I see it, is always sad when you're seeing it, because you're seeing on the inside like what it's like from their perspective, and what that, because I grew up obviously in a very strict Christian environment, and so I remember thinking that it was helpful. Like, for instance, if somebody was smoking outside of a building, I remember hitting a stage where I thought it was helpful to like cough really loudly when I passed them, because you're letting them know this is not good. We don't like this. You shouldn't do this. This is bad. If I'm coughing going by, you're breathing it right in.
Yeah.
And then growing past that and realizing that, like, nobody's gonna be like, gee, that teenager coughed when they walked by me, let me quit.
Yeah.
Just, how you just view things. And so I think a lot of times that, especially the Christian community and stuff has been so hard on just, I don't even really remember the topic very much coming up about trans people. I just remember it coming up a lot about, like homosexuality. And so if homosexuality was bad, then that was like even way, way more off the track, So and just like the way that human beings and people are treated it's just hard. It's hard to know that people got targeted because of that and killed specifically because of that. And, we had somebody in our community that for a while was, putting out the posts of the deaths that were happening as a result of it. And it was just absolutely painful to see how ubiquitous it was. And
especially in the Black community.
Yeah. And just understanding the fear that people have to, just because I don't agree with a certain lifestyle doesn't mean I can't look at that lifestyle and say, holy shit, that person is brave as fuck for coming out and saying how they really feel, because I think that there's a lot of us that feel different ways. Doesn't necessarily have to be that way, but there's parts of ourselves that we keep hidden from everybody, whether it's because you don't want people to, you think people aren't going to accept you, or because you think whatever, some sort of fear keeps it back. But then you have this group of people who unapologetically, seemingly so, will come out and be who they feel they are inside. And so there's a part of me that says, wow, like that's really cool that they're being that honest. But then to see the reaction of other people and how hurtful and harsh people can be is just, that's also difficult. So seeing this is very shocking. From the beginning of the song, I kind of wondered if that's where it was going, but because it was set in 1970, I was like, no, this can't be. But
I know.
But it was, and like I said, just because, I don't know. I guess, like, as I've gotten older, like, I have more love for different people groups, especially ones that have suffered greatly because of my religion. So I'm like, well, maybe people should be heard more, and maybe we should have more of a space for listening rather than judging people so quickly. And I don't think that it's wrong for people to have a strong standpoint to say, hey, like, this is why I'm against this certain thing. I think that that's healthy for people to be able to say what they really think about a topic, but at the same time, we don't have to be so harsh with people all the time. So yeah.
What'd you get the song?
You go first.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously I agree with Alden. In the context of a relationship, of course, you should tell people. You come across somebody in the grocery store, in the park, they're not obligated to tell you a life story. 100% true. 100% true. This is a 9.5. I'm blown away that they did this in 1970. I understand the 70, we had gone through all the various revolutions and things like that. But as we discovered, John Lennon is using the F word, talking about, gay people. So even though there was a lot of cultural upheaval, it was still a very dangerous thing to do, in my opinion, and they deserve a lot of respect. So it's a 9.5 for me. What do you give it?
9.6.
There you are, dear listener. We got one more song coming up for you, and then we will bid you adieu. Vin out.
Sorry out.
Go.